In his book, To Ride, Shoot Straight, and Speak the Truth, the late Colonel went to great lengths to discuss what he was looking for when he designed the scout rifle. He based the requirements of the scout rifle on the Frontier Scout. He also envisioned that it be the perfect weapon for the private citizen, to meet whatever requirements the private citizen, not the soldier, not the policeman, would encounter. When discussing the prospect of semi-automatic, the late Colonel himself confessed that a semi-auto was the better room-clearing weapon. But he also contended that the average citizen was seldomly, if ever, going to be required to do a room-clearing exercise. Critics of the scout rifle claim that times have changed. The odds of having to perform a repel borders, i.e. room clearing, has gotten greater since the time of the passing of the late Colonel Cooper. So nobody's going to argue that up close and personal, the semi-auto, in this case a PC carbine, is the better tool. When compared to the scout rifle, or for that matter, any regular rifle, with the PC carbine, there is a rule. Two-handed weapons should have two-handed ballistics. PC carbine breaks that rule, but like every rule, there are exceptions. In my series, Arming the Unarmed, I will cover the exceptions of why a PC carbine would be a preferable tool. In a close-in repel borders defense scenario, PC carbine can fall a little bit short, especially when compared to a carbine caliber carbine, such as an AR-15 or an AK. There is something called boarding house rules. What happens here is, because the PC carbine is somewhat underpowered, it is quite possible that you're going to get a failure to stop. So the question is, what does one do? Do you concentrate on one target, bring the guy down, and then move on to the next one? Or do you give each one a first helping? Boarding house rules. Nobody gets seconds until everyone's been served first. There is a debate on which method is better. So with boarding house rules, you bet against three targets, either slightly or greatly incapacitated. If you engage each target individually, you can have one down, but you're going to have two fully operational, able-bodied targets after you. Which method is better? That's for you to decide. There are various instructors that will teach either one as the most viable. Due to the fact that the PC carbine is underpowered, one shot per is usually not acceptable. Even with 5.56, many instructors will teach to double tap. So a more realistic approach to this boarding house rule would be everyone gets a double helping for their first serving. Now the gap between the semi-auto and the regular rifle closes. Slightly, but still closes. The semi-auto still has the advantage. At what range does the advantage of the semi-auto begin to fade? I think we've well established that up close and personal in room ranges, the semi-auto is the king. The only weapon that contests it would be the shotgun. Semi-auto PC carbine at 25 yards.
See, that was 27.
Now we're going to try the scout rifle. 3 targets at 25 yards. Go! .5 seconds. Somebody will contend that I missed. I actually hit the center part of the subjective reactive target that was already shot out. But 8.5 seconds, I'll take it. PC carbine at 50 yards. Now we're going to try the scout rifle at 50 yards. I'm going to argue that the subjective reactive targets are well worn and they're not catching the energy of a full-powered rifle like they used to. So in order to make this a little more challenging, a little more positive, I'm doing the same drill with 3 10-inch discs.
Let me know when.
Go!
Oh. Darn.
Calling for a ceasefire has begun to make it inconvenient for those shooters around here. So for the 100-yard target, I'm going to use a single target non-reactive, and we'll sweep the muzzle in order to simulate multiple targets. With the scout rifle, once again, because I'm only a single non-reactive target, even though I have to rack the bolt, I'll be sweeping the weapon between shots. Go! One might argue that the PC carbine does not represent the semi-auto well enough at 100 yards, and I would have to agree. So here at the shooting areas, I'm able to borrow an AR, and we'll try the same thing with an AR. Once again, since we're using a single non-reactive, it'll be fire, sweep, fire, sweep. See what happens. Okay, ready?
Yeah.
Go! Critics of the scout rifle will claim that times have changed. That was then, this is now. The likelihood of a home invasion or having to engage multiple targets at close range has increased dramatically over the years. Is it time for someone who makes the scout rifle his only rifle to invest in a semi-auto carbine? Or should one do more quick reaction drills, like the television drill Cooper calls for, where during commercial break you fire 3 shots at the 3 letters or 3 logos on the commercial breaks before it leaves the screen? That's for you to decide. But for those who are seeking to arm themselves, it's going to be very difficult to argue against the semi-auto. If you're in a legally restricted environment, such as Britain, Australia, or some of the other Commonwealth nations that have banned semi-autos, well, then it's time to get good with your repeater. Thanks for watching. Like and subscribe.